What's up, guys? Welcome to the Fantasy Addiction Network. In this video, we're going to be taking a detailed look at Le'Veon Bell, running back for the New York Jets, and discussing his potential fantasy outlook for the 2020 season. Before we get started, hit that subscribe button for more videos like this one, and let's get right into it. So last year, pretty abysmal in terms of effectiveness and efficiency for Le'Veon Bell. Taking the season off in 2018 and then coming from a really powerful offense in Pittsburgh and coming to arguably one of the worst, if not the worst, offenses in the NFL under the wonderful coach of Adam Gase. Sarcasm for those of you that didn't catch that. Le'Veon Bell finished last year with 245 carries, but only 789 rushing yards. Still carried a decent floor with 66 receptions and 461 receiving yards, but only 4 total touchdowns on the year. Finishes with 215 fantasy points, puts him at 16th best at the position, and 14.3 fantasy points per game. So we just did our video on Leonard Fournette. For those of you that watched it, I feel that this is the expectation of the type of season that Leonard Fournette could end up having, with a high amount of volume but very low efficiency on a really bad team. Could definitely resemble a season like this. And from Le'Veon Bell's perspective, I mean, finishing still as a running back too, but doesn't really give you anything to be massively excited about. But he's not going very highly in drafts right now. You can still get him typically in the 4th round of drafts. He just doesn't really give you much to be excited about anymore, which is pretty sad coming from a guy that used to be, the perennial number 1 or number 2 overall pick. So last year he had a decent stretch of games from week 9 to week 12 where he was a running back 1 for 4 weeks in a row, and started the season out looking like he might be able to actually put up some pretty decent numbers, especially in the passing game, finishing with 9 and 10 targets on the first 2 weeks. Those numbers didn't prove to hold up for the majority of the season. Ended up having 5 weeks where you weren't really that happy starting him, but still carried a pretty decent baseline of about 10 points a week, with the exception of 2 games where he didn't quite make that number. And again, never really killed you, but didn't really give you tremendous upside either. Towards the end of the season, you were beginning to question whether or not you could actually trust him, especially heading into games against Baltimore and Pittsburgh, where, again, he didn't kill you, but he didn't do anything to really help you win in your playoff weeks. So when you're considering the other guys that you have to draft Le'Veon Bell over, it's going to be hard for me to pull the trigger this year. If you can take a guy like Allen Robinson or DJ Moore or AJ Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster, Calvin Ridley, Adam Thielen. These are all wide receivers that are going around where Le'Veon Bell is going. If you're drafting, near the tail end of your drafts, picks 9 through 12, if you can start off with 2 running backs and then not have to worry about taking a guy like Le'Veon Bell in the 3rd and 4th, that's probably going to end up being the optimal strategy, because there's just not that much upside to really expect. Even if the Jets offense does take a step forward in terms of offensive efficiency, they added Frank Gore to the mix. We've already heard Adam Gase speak many times about how he doesn't really want Le'Veon Bell. He's a constant target to be traded, and I guess it's the same concept that we have for Leonard Fournette. If he gets traded to a team in the middle of the season, he's probably going to go to a team that's going to give him a decent workload, and maybe that, especially for Le'Veon Bell, maybe that even ends up giving him a rosier outlook if he does go to another team, because the Jets offense was just really bad last year. Now, they did grab Mekhi Becton in the 1st round of the NFL draft, so could help the offensive line. Obviously, last year dealing with an abysmal 50.8 run blocking efficiency, which was 62nd in the NFL. Still had 4th most weighted opportunities at 270.1. Only averaged 4 yards per touch, which is 51st in the NFL. A 0.4% breakaway run rate, just it's so sad to remember what Le'Veon Bell used to be, and then seeing this new version of him on the Jets. And I don't even know that it's necessarily his fault per se. Just playing on a team as bad as the Jets, I think, would do that to you. 37th in juke rate at 21.2%. Faced one of the worst game scripts at negative 3.54, with the recent signing of Cam Newton to the Patriots. The Jets are likely to be the worst team in the NFC East again, with the Dolphins and Bills surging. So probably not going to be a lot of positive growth in the game script department for Le'Veon Bell this year either, and finishes with 0.97 yards created per touch at 80th at the position. So I guess all that is a roundabout way of saying that even if we project him to get a similar carry count, which we're actually expecting to go down a little bit with the addition of Frank Gore, and the targets could go down as well if they want to get LaMichael Pirine involved, still probably going to be a running back too. Just not someone that we're really that excited about. We actually have him going up in efficiency and going up in total touchdowns, so finishing with about 902 rushing yards, a little bit tick down in his receptions to 56 with 408 receiving yards and 7 total touchdowns. That would put him at 228 fantasy points. So if you need a running back too and you go wide receiver early, that's not the worst bet, and he gives you a pretty safe floor. He just doesn't give you a lot of ceiling. And again, for the receivers that are going around where you have to take Le'Veon Bell, it just doesn't feel like the optimal strategy to take a guy like Le'Veon Bell when you know he doesn't really provide you the potential to boost your running back 2 spot into someone that you should have had to pay a first or second round price for. He's probably going to end up at best finishing right about where you drafted him, and there's plenty of guys that we like better with more upside later. So Le'Veon Bell is probably going to be in our avoid list once we release that to you guys here. But that's a sneak preview there. What do you guys feel about Le'Veon Bell? Is he and Leonard Fournette, are they both values right now, or are they complete traps? Highly used, high volume running backs that are on crappy teams with a very low expected outlook for their win potential. Obviously, that's very rarely good for a running back, and last year it definitely bore that out for what we saw with Le'Veon Bell. So, do you guys expect a resurgence from him this year, or more of the same, or could it even get worse? So, let us know what you think in the comment section below. You see where we stand now. But curious what your guys' take is, and hit us up there, and also hit that subscribe button for more videos like this, and we'll see you guys in the